What used to be considered the norm, but is now something unacceptable. Casual animal abuse. Used to be, you could chain your short-haired dog to a nail in the snow and people would just think you were training him to be a good guard dog or hunter. Then that Sarah McLachlan came around singing about angels, and suddenly you can't use cats to make fake rabbit fur starve and nag to death for losing its maiden race. X200B. Note: I think all of these things are horrific. I adopted the voice of a former perpetrator for comedic effect and prevent triggering. Pick a time frame? It was normal to rape women in the Stone Ages, and actually even beyond that. It was normal to throw shit on the streets, out of your window. It was normal to put lead in fuel. It was normal to say cigarettes are good for your health. It was normal to hit children in schools for discipline. I think we can go on forever. Thoughtful face. Hating on gay people. Smear the queer was still very much a thing when I was a kid, basically finding a kid, accusing him of being gay, and beating him up for it, and now there are even conservatives who think physically assaulting folk for being gay is a bit much. I'm 25, so technically young. But I miss when cell phones were more like tools or something you only checked on every once in a while. I'll walk into a restaurant and see a table of like 6 all staring at their phones. Whenever I'm with others, I try to avoid mine. Having kids in the car with no seatbelts or car seats. Siblings and I used to play in the back of the family station wagon untethered and jump over the seats like a jungle gym. No one thought of us as breathing projectiles back then. Pretty much anything and everything, because if you fucking smile wrong, some moron will go onto YouTube or TikTok and rant about how racist and homophobic it is to smile, and holy shit, just let me eat my cake in peace. I am done now being told not to say certain things over the landline because you don't know if the government is listening. Nowadays everyone walks around with the NSA tap in their pocket. Except girls, of course, cause they don't get pockets. Taking your dog for a walk and letting them crap right there in the middle of the sidewalk and then just keep on walking. I grew up in NYC. If you got through a day where you didn't step in it was a good day. Allowing your dog to just roam the neighborhood and treating your dog like a piece of disposable property. It still happens in a lot of places, but I'm glad it's not acceptable anymore. I love my dogs. Living together prior to getting married. Although it's not yet common in every culture, more and more people are deciding that they would never get married if they didn't first cohabitate. Back in my day, we could smoke on airplanes and nobody batted an eye. Now you can't even light up anywhere near a no smoking sign without getting dirty looks. Times have changed, I tell ya. That's gay. People called embarrassing things gay. They likened being an embarrassing loser as also being a homosexual. They fought so hard about it. South Park made it a thing. If you were sick, flu or colds, you stayed home for a day or two. Now sick people come to the gym, school, work, stores, etc., and then others end up sick and so it spreads. Restaurants staying open late. What happened to restaurants staying open until 11 p.m. or 1 a.m. or even 24/7 like Denny's? I think more restaurants should stay open later. Is reclining your seat on a plane now unacceptable? I've been hearing a lot that it's frowned upon, but I thought it was okay if I check behind me or the person isn't eating. Before Doug Williams and Warren Moon, it was thought that black athletes weren't cerebral enough to play quarterback. We're not talking too long ago either. Like 40 years. Forcing somebody who is clearly sick to go to work, school. Like, oh gee, thanks for forcing your kid upon us. Now we get to watch the plague rip through the school. Smoking in the car with children. Or just near children generally. Some people still do it, but they're definitely looked down on as trashy. Big hot sticky brown boy butter chicken sauce loads, but my K-pop idol lookalike Indian BF gives it all over my face anyways. Showing up to someone's house unannounced. I remember people just kind of popping in if they were doing something nearby. Yeah, back in my day, we used to smoke on airplanes and nobody batted an eye. Can't believe how much things have changed. Grown-ass men having sex with teenagers. There's literally a subgenre of 70s cock rock dedicated to the subject. Calling people on the phone. I know people that want pickup, but will text you back 60 seconds later. A whole bunch of the early 90s insults we used to casually sling around are pretty frowned upon now. Using offensive languages and slurs, especially in online gaming communities in the early 2000s. Corporal punishment in schools. Also capital punishment in most civilized countries. Arriving late to an appointment. I think that PPL are more and more looking down on it. Sexual harassment. Mad Men might have been fictional, but only in the storylines. Not caring what race someone is. Maybe not the norm, but certainly the aspiration. Smoking public places. Restaurants, for example. Used to have smoking sections, raging against sodomy and degeneracy. You're not allowed to do that anymore. Taking a switch to your kids, or as my dad did, his belt as punishment. Hitting the kids, or even some places the wife. Lucky things change. That boy is he and girl is she. We are now a fucked up generation. Compromise and cooperation between different political parties. Sharing that you believe in a religion like Christianity online. Homophobia. Also an honorable mention to sexism against women, saying that skate and mock or fool around between friends. Being a pedo seemed to be everyone's hobby back in the 70s. Video games with no in-game purchases or microtransactions. Living your extended family for a longer period of time. Everything. As there is always someone to be offended.